My name is Gonzalo. I work at Immunefi, and today I'll talk to you guys about the hacker mentality and what makes one succeed in the bug bounty world. So a bit of background, in case you don't know, Immunefi is a bug bounty platform hosting some of the largest DeFi projects, blockchain projects, definitely hosting the largest bounties in the world. And for the last couple of years, we've seen some pretty crazy bugs getting reported on Immunefi. These are just some examples. The Punning.eth bugs on the base layer level, Optimism's infinite money duplication found by Soric, then just a couple of other ones. And these are just some examples. If some of you might have reported vulnerabilities on Immunefi, so you know that some of these bugs cannot be disclosed. So the public ones are a portion of the bugs that actually get reported to Immunefi, and they are a very small portion. Now on to the subject of the presentation. How do these hackers find these crazy bugs that eventually get into production, into mainnet? The hacker mind is really, and the hacker mindset is a very mysterious, very interesting thing in my point of view at least. As you can see, these are just some examples. On your left, those two quotes are just Punning.eth saying he uses no tools. Do you read it? Yeah, you can read it, okay. He uses no tools, he uses no frameworks. I guess it works for him, spending a couple of hours randomly. Then he has no problems sitting on a bug for a few days and just, yeah, doesn't worry about whether some other people will find it. InfoSec US team is number 38 on the Immunefi leaderboard, has never written a Solidity smart contract. And I recently saw on Twitter a prominent security researcher that is successful, and he said he didn't know how GitHub worked. So how do these guys find bugs, basically? Joran Honig is an auditor from Consensus. He's one of the top hackers on Immunefi, I think maybe top 10, and he has a reputation for finding some of the most bizarre ways of breaking a protocol. That's the trolley image there. Basically, he was asked on an interview this game theory problem. Basically, you are the red guy pulling the lever, and you need to basically select who are you going to save. Maybe there's a train also going into your direction. Well, he responded right away that he would time the lever switch so that the train would derail, basically. So these are not proofs of security skills, but some just fun details that, in my point of view, hint the mysteriousness of the hacker brain, basically. Okay, so what is the hacker mentality? I'm going to give you 4 main traits that I see predominant in the hackers that get successful, at least in my point of view, at Immunefi. And I'll also give some examples just so that this doesn't get too philosophical. Number 1, independent thinking. It took me a long time to kind of name these properly. The white hats, it's not like they don't ask questions. They do ask questions. They actually ask the right questions, and they ask a lot of questions. But they don't ask others for the answers. They ask those questions to themselves, and then they try to find the answers all by themselves. They basically trail their own path. So what happens here is that inevitably they see the code from a whole new perspective. They are not mimicking some other people. It is the first time that that code is being seen from that specific point of view, and that's extremely powerful. Tying into independent thinking, you have the number 2 one, fearless creativity. So from their own point of view, they imagine some of the most crazy, out-of-the-box, bizarre scenarios. Okay? Hence why I said that they do ask questions, they ask the right ones, and they're always wondering, what if this specific state jumps into some other state in a weird order? What if certain market conditions happen? What if there's some economic stuff happening? And they actually find more states, often more protocol states than the protocol devs thought existed. That happens. Okay, so this is an example, a bug reported to Alchemix. This actually is a bug we are writing a bug fix review, so hasn't been shown yet to the public. This is kind of a peek an early peek for you guys. And apologies if the text is too lengthy. These are actual screenshots of the bug reports that you guys are going to see. So also something new we haven't done before. So what happens here is basically the liquidate function calls the unwrap function on the LSD tokens, like STETH, RETH, etc. They have that unwrap function, and they pass in a minimum amount out value. So that's normal stuff, and they pass in as a user input. So if it is a 0. That unwrap function can get sandwiched. Again, pretty standard stuff, right? That's on the user if they pass in 0. But what the white hat figured out is that if they sandwich their own liquidation, they are able essentially to cause the amount of the underlying asset received from the unwrap function to be almost 0. And because there's not enough solvency checks, that's the bug, they will get all the money. So example, deposit 100 STETH, mint 50 LETH, liquidate your STETH by passing the 0 min amount out, and then you sandwich that unwrap function that drives the output to 0. The liquidate function will try to pay the debt, but the loan, but there is nothing to pay off with, and so the attacker gets all the money. Again, there's still obviously some details missing here, like in the sandwiching process, but that's not the point, and I don't have a ton of time. The point is here, sandwiching their own liquidation. Very, very creative stuff. Number 3 trait is attention to detail. The white hats, the hacker mentality goes as deep as one can get. So until basically they are full, they are satisfied, okay? Until then, they just keep on grinding. And the white hat understands that complexity attracts bugs, but also complexity can be broken down into smaller, simpler parts. So they don't shy away from complex portions of code. Instead, they manage to break it into as simple and as small parts as they need to eventually understand the whole thing. The example here has been disclosed recently. It's the bug that a top Immunify hacker found on the sunsetted project Aztec Connect. So this is public. Again, these are snippets of the bug report. Sorry for being very small. Kind of a TLDR, there's a calculation there. There's an R, which stands for residual. And the white hat says, however, if we examine how the residual is generated in the circuit code, there's something interesting about it. So diving deeper into the smaller pieces. I'm not going to go deep into it. Basically, there's some constraints lacking in the witness that they use in the circuit. And notice how we're not done yet. They actually found a second bug that makes the exploit easier. It turns out that there's also not enough constraints in the different side of the equation, in the sums. And then they proceed to meticulously create an exploit scenario. So like swapping 100 USDC for DAI, then 100 transactions doing that, then a transaction doing 100 to USDC to DAI, and those claims exploiting the calculation, etc. So attention to detail, basically. And the last one is stubborn perseverance. The previous example already showed a little bit of this. If a potential exploit that you've dreamed about doesn't work, then dream of another one, and then of another, and then of another, etc. And this is something that the white hats do all the time. This example is from a bug already disclosed as well to Morpho. Just reading this. Okay, so you have that breakdown, supply 1 Ether, the index gets cached, then you flash loan, then you supply collateral, then you borrow. Seems very simple. Obviously, the white hat presented much more information. It's not as simple as that sounds. And this is later another message where they say just more information, like the impact is that the vulnerability is in the fact that you only update the index once per block instead of updating always. And here's where things start getting a bit fuzzy, a bit difficult, which you start asking, okay, how much DAI do you need to flash loan? How much DAI is there in the market to flash loan? Do you need money as the attacker? Do you need money in your wallet to exploit this? How many transactions and through how many blocks do you need to achieve meaningful impact? So yeah, I need to emphasize here that both Project and White Hat behaved tremendously well during this bug report. They were both clearly trying to figure out the fair payout, but it is not easy considering feasibility, etc. So there's a lot of interesting back and forth between the two, and you can see from this later message from the White Hat, the perseverance aspect of it. I'm going to just read through it. I totally agree with you that the cost of exploiting the protocol is high. Then he goes, also it takes multiple blocks if the attacker is trying to liquidate the whole protocol on Aave. The reasonable attack strategy is to launch it in 2 blocks. And then he proceeds, with optimized liquidity usage and taking max leverage with borrowing, the attacker needs 20 to 50 million to really make a profit with a given strategy. However, 20 to 50 million is not a crazy number, etc., etc. Okay? After this, both Project and White Hat called in mediation from Immunefi. We gave the assessment, and Morpho immediately paid what Immunefi suggested. So really top-notch work from the parties involved here. But this goes to show, what if the White Hat had just stopped in the first level, basically, just providing that initial small amount of explanation. Even if the project is meaning well and is well behaved, still there's like, you need to persevere, you need to keep on explaining, going deeper into it to achieve a payout. Otherwise, if the White Hat had given up, probably he wouldn't get paid nearly as much. I should have added a recap slide, but to recap, yeah, 4 traits that we see on hackers successful on Immunefi: independent thinking, fearless creativity, attention to detail, and stubborn perseverance. If you want to chat hacker stuff, feel free to DM me at GMHacker on Twitter or on Discord. Thank you.